everyone, welcome to the Movie Reception Show. My name is Fariba, and tonight we're about to watch the third episode of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which means I believe that we're about in the halfway mark of the series. And so far, for a show that, is, an addition to the Game of Thrones universe, this one does feel very different. It's not exactly like House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones where it goes right into this really big conflict. It's a little bit more localized. We're seeing a whole different side of Westeros where we're focusing on the commoners in a way, but also we still have the world of the royalty, the big houses, etc. Right? I mean, we're kind of in between the timeline where there hasn't been a major war that's taking place. So and so far we're really getting introduced to the characters like Egg and Duncan, or Sir Duncan the Tall. We're understanding what this character is like. We've kind of heard hints and pieces of him, especially in the Game of Thrones series, but now we're seeing what his actual story is about in this series and how he eventually rise to become eventually the main knight, the head knight of the king, which also happens to be Aegon Targaryen, right? Who we now see as Aeg, his current squire. And I think so far how this season is going to turn out is for the fact that I think this one's going to focus mostly on the tournament that's going on. We learned from the last episode, not only is he motivated to go and just, make his debut as a knight, but more importantly, he wants to make a statement. Mostly for the fact that a lot of people just didn't remember who his knight was, even though he's someone who may not be the most righteous person, may not be the most typical kind of knight where they're very stern, they're very chivalrous, things like that. That doesn't take away the fact that he's someone who has really done some good stuff, especially in taking in someone like Duncan who wasn't really raised by a family. So now that we're seeing a little bit of those motivations, now we're gonna see how that's going to play out throughout the rest of the season. I'm assuming again that this whole season is going to be focused on this tournament, and then afterwards it's just going to be the aftermath and just kind of seeing how things transpire, especially considering the fact that his squire happens to be one of the prince, or at least at that time, or at least in this time frame, one of the princes, right? So yeah, I don't want to wait any longer. I know we're about to reach the halfway mark and I want to see what happens. So without further ado, let's go right down into the third episode of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Okay. Or is this episode going to be focused on Egg then? Is what I'm assuming? We know nothing about him. Well, some of us know what he is, but...
It's a worse, so you best get your feet under you.
Lord.
My father told me you should never talk to a horse. He said they're dumber than dogs and only understand the crop.
Oh!
Horse doesn't want to be ordered about any more than a man does. So Duncan only has us. And if he loses, he won't even have that. I think... But then it's up to you.
Oh my god. This is so cute. There's always some kind of shit. Oh, he did it. He did it.
Not bad. Sir Duncan! Take it! Go,
I don't know. Looks like you were trying to steal, man.
What's wrong with your hair?
What's wrong with your eye?
Clever boy. Oh!
Sewing a patch.
Is that not my job?
You know how?
I guess not.
Then quit jawing and get the...
You eat the horse, sir.
You'll eat my fist if you don't do as you're told.
You know who you're talking to, mister.
Damon was the bastard, so they kicked his bastard. Grass is green in summer, green grass I adore, but grass is red all over.
Shut up.
Oh man. Wow, that's a big ass yolk. Oh, they're eating a sandwich. I never knew they eat sandwiches in Westeros.
Cows.
And lambs, perhaps.
Fuck your lambs.
Did you really ride all the way here in the back of some farmer's wagon?
I don't want to talk about it.
Shocking, that may be. I mean not to rob you, but to reward you.
Reward
That's
me?
what?
Aye. What
It's
do
a
you
scam.
know of Lord Ashford's youngest, Sir Andrew? Come forth, and unhorse Sir Andrew against all odds. The lucky few who backed such an unlikely winner would find their pockets full. Now,
I do not want a victory that I have not earned.
have you not earned it?
So it's been
Let Sir Andrew
fixed.
take the fall. Oh,
It's a no.
So this is kind of like how we've seen some boxing movies. Same shit.
I beg you
Fixing
think on
match.
it. I shall seek your answer on.
Of Mirkar, grandson of King Kern the Good, and Prince of House Targaryen. Prince Arian Brightflame!
Targaryen. I heard Targaryen. Lord have
Cousin.
mercy, look at that armor.
Come out, little knight.
Oh.
It's time you face the dragon.
Kill him! Kill him!
Oh.
It's too low.
Oh. Poor horsey. Oh my lord. Oh. Oh, he's not liked by people. Let's see. Uh-oh. And there are the Knights Guard. Oh boy. Oh no! No 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 no! Oh! He would know. He would know.
The jousting is done for the day.
Baratheons, I swear.
Now feeling awfully glum.
Feeling down alone. I tried to buy a piggy, but I got the whole of
Imagine what Stannis might be thinking about his grandparent, the grandfather.
Nothing more than what is asked. The whole arm bone, as it were.
Perhaps her name does not matter then. It's her story that abides.
Is this the
No,
Alice Rivers that
hope
we're
so.
gonna see in House of Dragon?
Belongs to all.
Oh, indeed.
No, not really.
Most like I saw mine hanged.
Uh-oh.
You shall know great success and be richer than a Lannister.
Thank you. Do the boy now.
You shall be king. And die in hot fire, and worms shall feed upon your ashes.
Oh.
And all who know you shall rejoice in your dying.
Oh.
What?
That's dark.
Thank you, that's very good. Egg, this is Raymond Fossaway.
Good day.
Will you join me in my tent for a cup of cider?
Very well.
Oh, they met before, right? You can tell they met before.
Have you chosen an opponent yet? Like a baking dish.
My squire thinks Arian meant to kill the horse.
Oh, he
Just
knows something.
Hard to accept that a knight might be so dishonourable. Let alone a prince.
Why is that hard?
Why,
They're incestuous aliens, Duncan.
Oh,
Blood magicers and tyrants who've burned our lands, enslaved our people, dragged
Oh,
us
that's
into
why
their
they hate
wars
them.
about a motorist they saddled on us as being madder than the last. Gods know how.
ooh.
The only honourable thing
Ooh.
a Targaryen can do for this realm is finish on his wife's
Ooh.
tits. So I think he meant to kill the fucking horse.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
he's probably just worried about his sons.
Seven know why. Darren's a sot. Arian's just vain and cruel. The third's so useless we're going to ship him off to a citadel to make a maester of him. And the youngest.
Sir Duncan, you have to come. Arian's hurting her.
Hurting who?
Oh, he is an asshole. Oh, no.
The dragon don't never lose.
Oh, he's giving Damon energy, man.
Nothing more to say.
Stupid boy! Hold your tongue or they'll hurt you!
No, they won't. If they do, they'll answer to my father. Let go of him. Wait.
His
You'll go
father?
As I say. I cut it off, brother. I didn't want to look like you.
Oh my god! Oh! Oh! Surprise! So that was the third episode of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and what a way to end things! Oh my god! I mean, let me just first off say that this is only a 30-minute episode, so anything could have happened. We couldn't have had too much going on. Things could have been underdeveloped. This could have been an episode that has gone totally wrong, yet the way that this episode was executed was done almost like nearly flawlessly. And that's given the fact that this is 30 minutes. Let's just break down this episode. I mean, first off, let's just get to the fact that the big reveal, right? I mean, right as this episode was about to start, you can tell that this is going to be a very egg-centric episode. I think that's the best way to describe it. Because we start off with him, he's looking at, Sir Duncan, and you're like, okay, we're seeing a little bit more of Egg. Because before, yes, we've been introduced to his character. He has now come in contact with Sir Duncan, and now he wants to be his squire. But we haven't really learned a whole lot about Egg. Now, of course, for a lot of us who are aware of, the spoilers of Duncan Egg, we know that Egg is basically Aegon Targaryen, so he's literally the future king of Westeros, one of probably, the descendants of Daenerys Targaryen, right? Or ancestor of Daenerys Targaryen, sorry, that's how it is. It's ancestor, not descendant, but that being the case, it's we don't know where things are gonna go. I think going into this episode, knowing, the fact that you kind of get the inkling that this is gonna be very focused on Egg, I would imagine that this was going to kind of give a little bit of an idea of, who he is, what his personality is, kind of seeing how his dynamic's gonna be. And that's what actually ended up turning out to be the case, is that we start to see kind of the more gentle side of who Aegon is. I mean, he's very different from the rest of the family, right? He's not someone who is a drunkard. He's not someone who's cruel. He's someone who is a little bit more aware of his surroundings, and actually in many ways respects even those who are very much below him in terms of class. And yet he's just there to kind of, mingle with the real world, right? I think that's the best way to describe it. And we already knew from the beginning that, they're trying to look for some of his missing sons, one of which we know is Egg. But I didn't expect that we were going to get this big reveal up until now. I thought it was going to be like much, much later that we're going to learn about who Egg is. And then that's probably when we'll start to transpire by, okay, he is not just any squire. He is literally one of the future kings of Westeros. But the fact that we get to hear, because first off, we still haven't even gotten to like the main part of the tournament. Yes, it kind of already started, but we haven't seen Sir Duncan go into action as of yet. So that's keep getting delayed, of course. As I said, I think this is going to be a very focused season where it's just about the tournament. We're not going to go beyond that timeline as of yet, but we know that there's going to be a tournament. We know that his motivations is to eventually win some of the matches, so that way he can make a name for himself and, pay tribute to his own knight, that because of the fact that he himself never was that well respected in Westeros. That being the case, getting down into the final moments, I never would have imagined that we were going to get this reveal, right? Because, yes, we kind of get the sense of how much the people do not like the Targaryens. I think that became very clear when we got that tournament. And not only that, but we got a sense of who Aerion is. And not only is he just any kind of king, any kind of prince, but he's a very cruel person. We kind of get the sense that he did that on purpose. The tactic that he pulled was done on purpose, and that we know for a fact that he's someone who, is probably going to become a possible heir to the Iron Throne. But as I said, who would have thought that this is kind of how we're going to end up in terms of this whole series? The fact that we actually get the big reveal of who Egg is, oh my god. And I'm assuming he's the one that they were planning on being the maester or something. I don't know. But wow, I did not expect that we're going to get that big bombshell by this episode. I thought it was going to be much, much later that we're going to get this, but at the same time, I'm happy that we got this so soon, because now things are getting even more juicy. It makes me question even more, how is this now going to impact the rest of this tournament? Can he still be the squire to Sir Duncan? What does this mean in terms of this tournament? How is this going to impact it overall? Now we know, and then of course now we know that he's, survived. They'll know that he has survived, that he's one of the surviving, princes. Now it's what's going to happen next, so on and so forth. But wow, what a way to kind of see things transpire. And let me just say, watching Aerion and just how brutal he is, and how, the moment that he got into, he entered that play, you can see the contrast between him and Aegon, right? Aegon is someone who's just, again, just observing everything. He's just taking in the moment. He's not someone who's as full of himself as the rest of his family members, yet he is someone who's very adventurous. He wants to kind of observe things, even if it means that, it might not be of his class. That doesn't change the fact that he, is enjoying the moment. You can tell how much he's enjoying the company of Sir Duncan, and how much, they're developing that friendship. And I will say this, even this episode really dives much deeper into that aspect, right? He is somebody who is, trying to learn from Sir Duncan in some way, knowing the fact that he's not someone with any kind of royal background or has any kind of highborn status. He doesn't have any of that, and yet he is still maintaining this relationship with Sir Duncan. He wants to continue being a squire. We even see him putting in the effort to be a squire by trying to train his horse for one of the jousting matches. You have to admire someone like Egg, and I love that we got a little bit more of a sense of who Egg is in this episode, just because he has been, a mystery to a lot of people in the show, of course, and of course for some of us who, know who he is but don't really know a sense of his personality. This gives us an idea of who Egg is and why he is the way he is compared to everybody else in the Targaryen family. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this episode. Let's just say that. The fact that, again, the bombshell, who would have thought that was going to happen? What's insane is the fact that even in the final moments, we actually see Aerion and how he is giving a lot of Daemon Targaryen vibes. Again, he's one of the he's the descendant of his family I think, if I got my history correct. As I said, we haven't even finished House of the Dragon, but I already kind of know what happens. I feel like we gotta kind of get a sense of what's going to happen. But that being the case, we can see, imagine imagery of Daemon Targaryen and Aerion, especially because I'm sure he felt insulted with how, they were depicting the whole dragons, because as we all know, dragons by this point are extinct. The dragons went into extinction just around the time frame of House of Dragon, like the whole battle, like the whole Tiger or the Dance of Dragons timeline, and it wouldn't be until Daenerys Targaryen where we actually see the first we actually see the first dragons come back after so many years, right? So there's that huge gap in between House of Dragon and Game of Thrones where we have no dragons. So for them, like for Aegon, he has never seen a dragon, right? This is kind of his way of seeing their interpretation of it. Whereas Aegon, of course, feels insulted. He even kind of gives off a lot of Damien vibes. The way he's just saying, I can't remember what he was just saying before, but something about dragons, blood, again, their slogan's fire and blood, their symbol is a dragon. You can see how much he feels insulted with how they are depicting his family. And not only that, but we also get a better sense of how people feel about the Targaryen family. We just saw one just not even a moment ago, how they feel truly disgusted by the Targaryens, who happen to be, who happen to be the kings and queens of Westeros. Even saying that they're like incestuous, family that's very disgusting. The fact that shouldn't come as a surprise, that they probably use black magic, all that sort of stuff. Like, this is how people think of them, and that gives an idea, like that gives us a sense of like how these people feel about the family. And I wonder how that's going to reflect on the rest of the series, just because if that's their own opinions about the Targaryens, I can't even imagine what this would mean in terms of Aegon's reign when he takes over as king, right? I mean, we just got a prophecy here, right? We just saw a fortune teller just giving out their prophecies. Sir Duncan's gonna be even richer than the Lannisters, and we know that the Lannisters are known to be one of the richest households in Westeros. And then for him to say, you're gonna be king one day, but that's not gonna be great, right? And it's like, whoa, where did that came from, right? But yeah, nevertheless, this is quite an interesting turn of events, I think. And I know that, again, like, this may not be a show for everyone, because Game of Thrones and House of Dragon are one thing, right? They're very, honed in on the whole war, the violence, the brutality, whereas this show is not exactly in the same level as that. As we said before, like, this show is very different in the sense of its tone, in sense of its plot, and sense of its aura. It has a whole different vibe from what we've seen with Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. And that's not to say that this show is any, that this show makes it inferior in any way. It just makes it different, right? And because it is different, that we kind of have a refreshing perspective of what Westeros is, even beyond the whole kings, queens, households, houses, all that sort of stuff, right? I mean, we're still focused on the kings and queens, but again, we're kind of having an expansion of that perspective. And as I said, I think just seeing this episode and how things have transpired, it only makes things juicy. And we're like already at the halfway point. So I wonder how things are going to go out moving forward, just to see how Egg and Arion is just like looking, or like butting heads. And I gotta say, you gotta admire Egg or Aegon for stepping up and kind of basically kind of stepping up and really challenging Arion's authority, and being that challenger and being the voice of what is essentially someone who is just a commoner right now, who's trying to become a knight. And again, a huge contrast of these two princes. And it makes me wonder what this would mean in terms of the future, right? So, but yeah, I don't want to go too much into context, because again, I mean, things are just only building up, but I love how things transpired here, especially for the fact that this is a 30-minute episode, and yet there wasn't a single moment that I ever felt, bored out of it. I think this is maybe the strongest episode that we've gone so far, without a doubt. But yeah, I think that's all to say about episode 3 of House of Dragon, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Let me know your thoughts now that we've gone to this bombshell. What do you think this means moving forward? Are you excited to see what this could mean for episode 4? Did you expect that we're going to get this reveal so soon? We're expecting it to be much later in the series. Now that we kind of have a little better idea of how people feel about Targaryens, what this would be the implication in terms of the future. We kind of already got a little bit of hints, bits and pieces about what's going to happen in the future. So now it's just a matter of how much of that's going to transpire. I mean, we know that season 2 is going to happen, so are we going to see a full-fledged version of what happens between Sir Duncan and Aegon? What are your thoughts so far having gone to this point? And are you excited to see what's going to transpire for the rest of the season, since we're already at the halfway point? Let me know your thoughts below, and make sure to like and subscribe.